All right. So, in today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about greatness, excellence, and specifically Black excellence. Now, for starters, anytime a person gets to a certain level of excellence or a certain level of accomplishment, they begin to exceed the realm of normal human being based off of the expectations that others set for them. So, oftentimes we take these people and we hold them under microscopes in order to monitor who our role models are, who it is that we receive inspiration from, and stuff like that. And a lot of times, people like that are potentially antagonized. I don't think that's the right word that I want, but they're criticized quite harshly, I would say, for a lot of things that people are normally like people already do, and is something that is an almost I would consider a normal thing for people to do. Meaning, like, okay, things that are not good things, they're not morally right things or anything like that, but it's all about like we've been allowed you're allowed to be imperfect until you get to a certain like level of fame or acclaim or whatever. Things like, I mean, if you're a person who has a vulgar mouth or anything like that, and you reach a certain level of publicity and fame and stuff like that, you get reprimanded for even just speaking in your natural dialect. Now, I understand why that is, because whenever you become a certain level of impressionable, especially when it comes to social media or in the public view, there's going to be people who are impressionable, specifically children, things like that, that you really don't want to be, you don't want to lead them down the wrong path, and you don't want them to pay attention to qualities that were not exemplifying the success that a person has achieved, or any of their, if it doesn't exemplify your accomplishments, then you don't want them to be picking up those kind of habits. But a lot of times, impressionable minds who are used to what's the word? A lot of times, impressionable minds who are used to just taking whatever the richest or whatever person in the room is, and kind of running with it as whatever they say goes because they're the most successful person. Those are the kind of people who you have to watch out for. And those are the kind of people that should be kept supervised and out of the way of people who are going to, give them the wrong impression of what is success, or what is greatness, or what is excellence. Now, to the main point today is how heavily this falls on the Black community. And specifically, I would say, well, I can't say specifically Black men, because about the Black men and Black women is that they're viewed under different lenses. They're both highly targeted. I would say they're both the most targeted in their own aspect. And I would say that they're both not as targeted as each other in each other's highest aspect. And there's a reason for that. And the reason is division. In order to control a people like Black people, and in order to keep us infighting and stuff like that, they have to give us different problems. If we had the same problems, if Black men and Black women had the same problems outside of being Black is our main issue and the main thing that brings us together. But outside of that, men's issue I'm just going to break it down for you real quick. And this is I'm probably going to do another video on this because it's a very important topic. But men's main issue is violence. We die at a higher rate than anybody on this planet. Black men do. The issue that they have with women is the manipulation. Black women are manipulated higher than any other person on this planet. Hence why we have, I mean, I didn't go into detail on the black men thing because you can look up the stats on that. We die at 5 times the rate of black women, and black women are the closest demographic of people who die as much as us. And we die at 5 times the rate of them. So I don't even bring up the other stats because when we're talking, I'm comparing us to our number 2 and we die 5 times more than that. So I mean, everybody else is very far behind that. So that is why it's literally a manhunt. It's a manhunt for black men. So that is what it is. There's really nothing. There's no finesse to that. There's nothing I have to really get in there about. Incarceration, these are all things that I'll also be having videos on because I think that they're important and deserve their own subject. But back to the black women's manipulation. The reason that I say this kind of stuff is because you'll see black women being manipulated the most in the work world, where they will be handed promotions or put into certain positions of false power because they're being controlled by someone who can manipulate them and get them to do what they want easier than you would a black. So that's what puts them ahead of us in the manipulation realm. A black man is not as easily manipulated as a black woman is because of the physicality and the mentality and the stubbornness of men. That's black women have the leading amounts, the highest percentage of college debt. It's because, first off, black men aren't making it to college. We're not making it to college. I have not been to college. I mean, I took AP classes, but, let's not go there because I was barely ever at high school. Anyways, school kind of garbage, especially if you live in Florida, especially if you live in Hillsborough County, Florida. Fuck Hillsborough County, Florida. I'm sorry. Disregard that. The cursing, not the Hillsborough County is trash, especially if you care about your kids. Don't have them educated in Florida, period. That's a whole nother topic also. But back to the basics, or back to what I'm talking about. That's why black women have the highest debt in the, out of all the demographics in the United States that go to college. They have the highest debt because they're manipulated into believing that is, first off, what you have to do in order to be successful. And then they're manipulated into believing that the fields that they're going into are going to help them pay those things. It's like, just go to college. That's all they've ever been told is how to succeed is just to go to college. When a lot of the counterparts, like a lot of white families or Hispanic families or whatever, Asian families, know that that's not the truth. They know that you have to have entrepreneurial skills and stuff like that in order to make any type of wave in this world on your own or for your family. That being said, yes, of course, you can fall up under some other successful people and become a CEO or whatever of a company. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And that is still a level of success, but you have to guarantee that you're making enough to support your own lifestyle. And if you're not making enough to pay off your school debts, then, I mean, very principally, you're not. But that was a long digression to come back to what I wanted to my point, which is how black people are always put under a microscope and criticized far more harshly than anybody else. This goes to the positions, or this folds back into what I was talking about with excellence earlier and also greatness. You have people who are put under a microscope of other cultures, but they're still allowed to succeed. Donald Trump is a perfect example of this. Yeah, he is harshly criticized. Yes, he's put under a microscope, but he's the president. He's still the president. Could you imagine if Obama had even one of the scandals that President Trump has been through? Obama would not have survived even one of those. Obama would not have survived Stormy. Obama would not have made it past the 14-year-old pedophilia thing. He would have never made it past that. Are you kidding me? And I don't even think that Obama was that great. Not because of the things that the media tried to point out to me, but because of the things that the media actually never brought up. That's a whole nother story that I will be getting into. Once again, that's another YouTube video. But pressing forward, I bring up Donald Trump first because I wanted to give you an example of somebody who doesn't get commentary. Now, I'm sure this will receive a lot of criticism for me bringing it up, but Bill Cosby, a great man. A great man. If me saying that Bill Cosby was a great man, is a great man, makes you feel uncomfortable, then I totally understand why. I totally understand why, because it does make me feel uncomfortable to say that, but I know that I have to, and I know the reason why I'm saying it. And I also know that there are people who've been working very hard to defame him at a much faster pace than a person like a Donald Trump, who does something that is, still open while he's being elected into presidency. I mean, we're talking about cases that were disproven and closed 30 years ago, and this man is, had a essential lynch mob out against him. But we're talking about open cases as Trump is being elected into presidency, into the White House. This man was like 2 days after he got elected in, he had to go to court for pedophilia charges. And also now he's facing these infidelity issues with a porn star and stuff. All these questionable things that people are like barely batting their eye at. And then they're saying, and the people who are saying it, the people who are condemning him, are people who condemned him before all that happened. The people who are, having their mind changed and stuff like that are the people who are saying, yeah, but let's look at what he's doing. Let's see what he's done. All you people are worried about these personal things, but let's look at his policy. Let's separate that from his actual position and stuff like that. And you know what? I understand that. And I don't necessarily think that works for the presidency and little girls, like, and stuff like that. I don't think it falls into that category. But for the most part, a lot of these things I definitely think should be put to the wayside for a lot of people, because people who achieve greatness, that doesn't mean that everything else went right in their life for them. You know what I'm saying? People have a lot of issues that make them mentally not incapable, but it makes them, what's the word I'm looking for? Nobody's 100% like, you know what I'm saying, all the way there and knows everything that, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's 100 like a great person all the time and doing everything that they have to do always and stuff like that. There's always, people make mistakes. We're not perfect and stuff like that. It's all about the scope of publicity that you get from your mistakes and stuff like that. It's really not about the gravity of the mistakes, especially not when it comes to a black person. It's all about the amount of publicity you have and your accomplishments that you have done, weighing heavily against what you're being accused of or your wrongs that you have committed. And that's where I fall into my point of it not being same. There's a harsh, different gradient between how black people are judged on that and how white people are judged on that. And other minorities that are not black people in the same boat. Who else could be put on this list? I mean, Obama could easily be put on this list. Obama is still, I believe, more harshly criticized at a broader spectrum than Trump is. And Trump has done more things proven that are wrong, that are questionable things, and has received less backlash than Trump has from everybody, and that's the kind of stuff that I think people, especially people of color, especially black people, need to be aware of, because it would be discouraging in your own life to always be having negative things pointed out in you, your flaws and stuff like that, and never praise for your accomplishments. Those kind of things will definitely get to a person. So keep that kind of thing in mind whenever you're taking criticism from somebody who is, who you're a subordinate to, whether it be in your personal life or at work or at school or anywhere that you have a social hierarchy or something like that, anywhere that you have any position of power or anywhere that you have responsibilities, take everything that people say to you with a grain of salt, because it is 100% highly likely that you are being judged at a very harsh gradient in comparison to people who are accomplishing less than you. Keep your eyes open for those kind of things too. Pay attention to that kind of stuff. Don't second guess yourself on a lot of things. I would never tell you to underperform, and I would never tell you to quit doing anything that you think is necessary or the right thing to do just because of somebody else. Like, I've even experienced it in my own personal career, but I still do what I do on the corporate plantation for now, until I'm off of that. Until I'm off that mofo. But I do that without focusing too much on the negative things that people tell me about where I was headed with my career path and stuff like that. I'll tell you, if I had done that, I wouldn't be where I was in my own company, which, I mean, I'm not like the highest up or anything, but I'm higher than I've seen a lot of black men go in my company, and also higher than I've seen a lot of black. Basically, statistically, I make more money than the average black man does, based off of just a little bit that I've done. And I don't question whether or not I deserve that kind of stuff. It's not even much, which is the sad thing. I don't say any of that kind of stuff to flex on it or anything, because I am always trying to go above and beyond what I'm doing, because it's not enough. It honestly scares me to know that I'm very successful in comparison to other people, because I feel like I am at the bottom of the barrel still. But, I'm a person who's always going to strive for more and stuff like that. So I don't know if that feeling will ever leave me. Anyways, I feel like I've been all over the place during this video and stuff like that, which is okay, because this wasn't really a coherent topic or anything like that. Like, if I had just stuck to talking about like excellence or greatness and stuff, it would have been a very, very, very short video that wouldn't have touched on a lot of the points that I feel like fall into it, and will also set up for later conversations that we're going to have on this site. Anybody who is paying attention to what I have to say here today, I greatly appreciate that. And like I said, don't let yourself get discouraged about anything that you're doing, because if you're doing things that you believe are great, then you're great. That's all that there is to that. Same thing like what I said about Bill Cosby and stuff. I know I didn't really go back into, I know you'll notice that I didn't say the but. I didn't say but before. I said he did questionable things, but I didn't say, but we have to, no, because he's a great man. He's a great man. The things that he has accomplished for black people are great, making him a great man. It's great men all, do messed up stuff too. Like, it's not something, and none of the great things that he's done, and him being a great man, doesn't mean that he shouldn't be held accountable for anything, any transgression he has ever made upon any human being. That goes for everybody. But at the same time, all these other people who have accomplished great things who are not black. I just seen something online that said Albert Einstein was a racist and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. He was before segregation ended. So I automatically assumed he was racist. You don't have to tell me these kind of things. You do not have to tell me these kind of things for me to already know that. All the men that, yes, you've given all this endless praise to, yeah, of course they're racist. That's probably why you praise them in the first place. Not to mention the fact that it doesn't matter to you that they're racist as long as they're helping you out. Like, nobody cares about him being racist as long as he freaking, like, helped create a bomb. Nobody cares about what he hated or anything like that. Just like they didn't care about the fact that he was a Jew, even though they have an agenda against Jewish people. It's like, which is true. America does have an agenda against Jewish people. Besides the fact that Jewish people run a lot of what is in the United States. Outside of that realm, if it wasn't for them running a lot of that stuff, which You know, shouts out to them. That's one thing that Black people need to take from the book of Jewish people is that they have made themselves one to not be fucked with financially first and foremost. And that allowed them to make space every single where else. See, we keep trying to fight with our little fists and shit like that, and it's not going to get us anywhere. Anywhere. We have to fight with here. We have to fight with this shit right here. I don't play with that, bro. These are my little soldiers and they march for me. Anyways, that's a whole nother man. Videos coming soon, bro. Videos coming soon. If you like this kind of stuff, like it, subscribe to the channel, like and subscribe to the channel because I'm gonna be back talking about this kind of stuff for as long as I'm alive. So, you know, if I miss a day, because I know I missed a day. It was either a day or 2 days. I'm sorry about that. Uh, you know, I'm gonna try to do my best to get on this daily and stuff, but life, I have a very busy life and I'm trying to make it busier every single, I'm trying to make more business for myself. So hopefully pretty soon I won't even be able to, I'll be too busy to do these kind of things. But one thing I will say is that if I get too busy to do any of these personal YouTube videos, I guarantee you that I'll be employing somebody else to spit out these messages because I think that this is something that needs to get across to people. I'm kind of sad that I took so long to get these kind of messages out, but I had to do some personal grooming in my own life before I felt comfortable with talking with anybody on camera about life-changing subjects or anything like that, or how I'm changing my life. I wanted to actually start progressing on that before I got into it with other people. So that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for checking me out and have a great rest of your day.